What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my favourite books of 2019. So jumping straight in, my favourite book of 2019 was Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This quickly jumped to one of my favourites of 2019 of all time, really. It's got the age gap romance, it's got hardcore angst, it's just got everything I really enjoy in a romance, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was quite shocked actually by how much I actually enjoyed it. It has good and bad reviews, but I definitely gave it 5 out of 5 stars. My second favourite book of 2019, tying with Birthday Girl, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This gave me all the feels. All of them. I was just captivated from the very start. The whole thing was so good and I was crying. I was bawling like a baby at the end. I was heartbroken, I was happy. It gave me all the feels. This I recommend to every single person I meet. Read The Nightingale. The third book is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the Mistborn series book 1, and I fell in love with this book. I haven't finished the series yet, I'm up to book 3, but it quickly became one of my favourite books of 2019. I read it from watching Reagan at Peruse Project. Loved it ever since. The fourth book that was one of my favourites in 2019 was Mouth to Mouth by Tessa Bailey, and I love Tessa Bailey's books. I fell in love with them in 2019 actually, and this one is one of my favourites of her. It's like a bad boy meets good girl kind of romance, and I love those. So yeah, that was number 4 on my 2019 favourites. So number 5 is kind of more of a controversial pick, and that's To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. And I gave all these books 5 stars, by the way, but I loved it. I was captivated the whole entire time and I had nothing bad to say about it. So I don't know what everyone's problem with it was, but I loved it personally. Number 6 is a graphic novel that everyone seems to love, but I read it in 2019 and I also fell in love with it, and that's Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I thought this was so cute and so heartwarming, and I don't know how anyone could not give it 5 stars. This definitely became one of my favourites in 2019, and I'm sure, like everyone else, it was just so heartwarming. Controversial book number 2 is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Morin, and I loved this one. I don't know why anyone else didn't like it. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I loved the angst and the witchiness, and based in the olden times. I loved it. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm feeling like a lot of my books have been controversial, or I just have a weird reading taste. But another book which I also think has had some negative reviews but I gave 5 stars for is The Gilded Wolf by Roshni Chokshi. And people were saying they found this hard to read or hard to follow, but I had a great time reading this. I thought it was really good. I thought it was well done. I thought it was beautifully written, and I read this in like a day or something ridiculous, and I found it just so good and so good. I just can't wait for the second book. I don't know, I mean, I can see why people didn't like it, but I loved it. So another book by Tessa Bailey that I read was Fix Her Up, and this was cute. This is the main character's a clown, or works as a clown, and I just thought that was such a cute concept. She was so like quirky and different, and we love like a main character that's a little bit different, not always perfect, and I thought that was really nice, and Tessa Bailey did a really good job in that book with representing like a quirky girl, and I really related to it. So I gave that 5 stars, and it was definitely one of my favorites of Tessa Bailey's books. The next book is another romancy, smutty kind of read that is a series that I started that's more of like a guilty pleasure as well, and that's Dark Lover by J.A. Ward, and I really enjoyed this. I don't really have much to say about it. It's just a good romance, smutty book that I like to read in between fantasy and historical fiction. It's just like a palate cleanser for me, and I just found it really good. So the next one, I haven't really heard many things about this book. It wasn't really hyped up on BookTube or Bookstagram, I don't think. I didn't see it anywhere, and that is Night Chaser by Amanda Boucher, and I loved this book. I am literally counting down the days till book 2 comes out. I'm pretty sure it's like, I can't remember, but it's sometime this year, and I'm so excited. I tried to get an ARC on NetGalley and they declined me. Boo. But oh well, I'll just have to wait for it to come out. I've already pre-ordered it, so I'm counting down the days. The next book I loved in 2019 was Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir, and that's book 3 in An Ember in the Ashes series, and I loved it. I don't know what else to say, I just loved it. Yeah. Another one that is of course on my favourite list of 2019 is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm also counting down the days for book 2 in this series. I loved this book. I thought it was different, and I love like the sci-fi books. They're like, I vibe with them, you know. I just enjoyed it. Okay, it was really good. Next, I started getting into more middle grade books, and I picked up Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman, which is book 1 in, I think it's a 3-book trilogy, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute and had so many like great elements. It was heartwarming. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend this to anyone that wants to read a middle grade book and fall in love with the characters. So the next 2 books are 2 books in a trilogy, and I read the first 2 books in 2019 and fell in love, and that is The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King by Holly Black, and I don't know what to say. They were great. Definitely The Wicked King is my favorite book in the trilogy, because I've read The Queen of Nothing as well this year, and like everyone's review, like I gave it a great review. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but I believe it was a bit too short and we felt like robbed of more of the story. But The Wicked King is my favorite in the trilogy, and of course The Cruel Prince, which I actually also thoroughly enjoyed and gave 5 stars. Another series I started in 2019 and I loved the first book was Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This one I had some troubles getting into because I started it as an audiobook, but once I switched to the physical copy, loved it. Chef's kiss. The next book is another romance book I read in 2019, and that was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is my first book I've read of theirs, and I loved it. I took it with me on my holiday to Thailand, and I thought it was the perfect book for that because it's based in Hawaii. It's on a honeymoon, and it just vibed with me at the time, and I don't know if that's what gave it 5 stars for me or just like the book was actually that good, but I loved it and I thought it was so cute. And last but not least, I read a duology, but I'm not putting them as 2 separate books, I'm putting them as 1 book because I've only got 1 spot left, and that is the Six of Crows duology. So Six of Crows and The Crooked Kingdom. I loved them. I thought the characters are so cute, and I just love the way they vibe with each other and all their banter and just everything. I love this duology. I will continue loving it, and I would love to reread them again in 2020 and dive back into that cute world. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed my favorite books of 2019. Let me know down below if any of my favorites are your favorites, and what books I loved that maybe you didn't love as much, and we can discuss our thoughts. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'm loving being here so far, and yeah, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.